Hey, it's week 27 of Instant Value Handicapping. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. The past few weeks, we're giving you some winners and some thrilling losers. That's pretty good for free. So we've been at Saratoga for the past 3 weeks and trying to be selective there. We've picked one race per week. For the last 3 weeks, we've got two winners, including I believe it was an 11-1 shot 2 weeks ago, and a near miss last week. We missed by half a head or nose, somewhere in there. So we're doing pretty well there. Two winners and head away from having three in a row. We're going back to Saratoga this week for week 27, and we're going to try to add to our success there. And if you want to see how well we've been doing for the past 27 weeks, be sure to go to our website, lazybettorusa.com. And if you want to know exactly what we're basing all this on, you can check out my latest book there, The Punter's Tale, A Bettor's Quest for Racetrack Profits. It's available postage free on the website. Check that out. In addition to my other book, The Lazy Bettor's Guide to the Kentucky Derby, because it's never too early to start looking at the Kentucky Derby. And the summertime Kentucky Derby, the Travers Stakes, is up this weekend on Saturday at Saratoga, 1.25 miles for 3-year-olds. A lot of the same principles that I list in my book, The Lazy Bettor's Guide to the Kentucky Derby, apply to this race, the Travers. We have a video series we're doing with noted handicapping author Mark Kramer. It's a video series we call The Slow Train to the Travers, where we've been looking at the prep races for the Travers for the last month and a half. And Mark will be joining us again this week to break down the Travers. And as a special feature to that, Mark has been digging through the works of novelist and poet Charles Bukowski, who is an avid race player. And Mark is going to try to decipher what the late Charles Bukowski would have bet on in the Travers. So you will have the opinions of me, Mark Kramer, and Charles Bukowski. Be sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss that. For now, we're going to race 9 at Saratoga on Wednesday. This is a restricted handicap race, a restricted stakes race. It's for 4-year-olds and upward who have not won a stakes race on the turf this year. So the expert on race conditions and what to look for in particular conditions is James Quinn. He wrote the Bible on this, the Handicapper's Condition book, back in the mid-'80s. And his advice here in a restricted stakes race like this, it eliminates any horse who's won a graded stakes this year. So the perfect candidate for a race like this is a horse who won a stakes race last year. You know that horse's graded stakes quality, and he just hasn't found his best race yet this year. It's a class drop. He comes out of graded stakes races into this restricted race. It's a rather large class drop. So that's your ideal candidate. Your second candidate would be a horse who has won a non-graded stakes race this year, which makes a repeat performance here somewhat likely. So looking for those two profiles in this race, I find only one, and it is the one horse Red Knight. But first we have to evaluate the favorite here. So the favorite is number 3, Shamrocket. And we're also going to look at Red Knight, the one horse, and towards the outside here we have number 6, Fantasioso. I love saying that name, but that's not why I'm on that horse. But this is a really intriguing race because you have a lot of horses who've been running graded stakes races who haven't been doing well. You have one allowance winner moving up, and it can be very confusing unless you've read Quinn's condition book. Then it becomes clear. So Shamrocket, the 3, He's at 5-2 on the morning line. Why am I willing to bet against him? A few reasons, few red flags here. His regular riders are Rad Ortiz Jr., who's ridden him the last 2 times. And Rad is 24% winner on the turf. This is a Todd Pletcher horse. There's not a bigger, better stable that Irad could ride for. He certainly doesn't want to get on the wrong side of Todd Pletcher, yet he abandons this horse for a different horse in the race. So Shamrocket loses his jockey, maybe the best turf rider there in New York at the moment. And his last 2 wins have come while racing with Lasix, and he'll be racing without Lasix today, according to the rules in place at Saratoga. So he may not have the jockey that he wants. He may not have the medication that he wants. He's also, I don't think he's ever won a stakes race. His last 2 wins are in allowance company. So there are a lot of negatives to this horse. He's only 3 for 17 lifetime also. So not exactly a win machine. We're willing to take a shot against him. And the horse I see as the ideal candidate here is the 1 Red Knight. William Mott sends him out with a rider switch to his main jockey, Junior Alvarado. So in this case, you get a really positive jockey switch. This is the guy that Mott uses on his best horses. He's dropping out of the Grade 2 Bowling Green handicap, where he really didn't do much. They tried blinkers on him for the first time to try to get him to focus in the stretch. Didn't really work. They're taking the blinkers off. That's a 31% success rate for Mott, taking blinkers off a horse. So positive rider switch, positive equipment change. There is another big reason, probably the biggest reason I like this horse here at 5-1 morning line, is he ran last May in the Grade 3 Louisville Handicap at Churchill Downs. He finished 2nd by a length. There's another horse in this race who is going off, or who might go off at lower odds, who finished behind him in that race. He's the horse also, Red Knight, who has the graded stakes win last year, so we know he can beat horses better than this. Question is he ready? The jockey switch to Junior Alvarado suggests he is. The class drop along with that suggests all systems go here. I really like this play a lot, but on this series we make $100 hypothetical bets, and we Dutch 2 horses. So we might not go with the pure Dutch here, but I am going to have a little money on the horse on the outside, Fantasioso. Javier Castellano takes the mount. He ran 2nd while riding this horse 2 races ago. Last time out, they put blinkers on him also as an experiment, I guess, and he ran into trouble. He was steadied and in tight. They take the blinkers off, and now for the first time since shipping here from Argentina, he drops out of graded stakes races into this restricted stakes. So he's a horse who's never failed at this level. The class drop is significant here. They look like they want him at this marathon turf distance, and they go back to the jockey who's had the most success with him here in the United States. So 5-1 and 6-1 is what we've got to go with here against a highly vulnerable favorite in the feature race at Saratoga on Wednesday. Be sure to hit subscribe and catch our Slow Train to the Travers with Mark Kramer on Friday. I'll also have the fastest 2 minutes in handicapping again this week for a major stakes race this weekend. Again, hit subscribe. You don't want to miss it. Feel free to add your comments on this race or on the Travers. And stay tuned. We're planning to stay hot at Saratoga. Thanks for watching.